Go ahead, call the meeting to order with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, just Jerry and I tonight. Grant will not be here. He is, I believe, on vacation. Or traveling back from being on vacation, one or the other. So with that, we'll go ahead with approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes for the regular meeting on March 20th, 2023.
I'll second the motion. I've got a motion by Jerry, a second by Jamie. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. Got a motion by Jerry, second by Jamie. All in favor? Aye. Highway Superintendent Anthony Thomas.
We'll start out with my chip and seal list for roads. For this,
I seen it look like you had a lot of 11. I think that's 11s. And
yes, it is. Preliminary start is gonna be in June if I get a roller. Waiting on call back for a roller. Right now I'm about 15 miles, about $235,000. That leaves me about 81,000 for fog seal and Reynolds equipment. Not real sure about the fog seal, how much it's gonna cost, but so that's where we're standing right now. Oil may get high, but what I've been hearing on the radio, so it could get up. I'm gonna have to drop some of them, but that's where we're going right now on that. The dumpsters are scheduled for April 21st, 22nd, 23rd. We will have that on the internet, county website, and Facebook. The guys replaced the pipe on Grand Creek between Open Hill and
I'm a little behind. I was busy trying to fix my
I
glass.
think you broke it. Go ahead.
Did we have enough in the budget to cover this
We
chip and seal?
got 350,000.
And you said something about the fog seal.
Don't know what fog seal is gonna be yet. If we do these roads here, we got 81,000 that we done spent. I spent 33,000 on rock. It's 1850 a ton this year, and it was 15 last year. Everything, as you guys know, is going up.
The fog seal last year.
I think
They have some.
it only takes 0.1. It's about a third of what the oil we use for. It should be. I think we can do it for what I got on budget. I think we can do it all. I don't think it'll be a problem. I think we can do it all. Like I said, we replaced the pipe between Grand Creek and Corkscrew Hill, and on the end of Oakland. All the road is cut down through there for all new pipes to be installed. That's going to be asphalted sometime this summer. We had a pipe put in on Popcorn Crossing. That road should be open hopefully within a week. The county highway garage is scheduled to go to 410 starting Monday, April 10th. The pier caps are poured on Bridge 4 on Fairview Road, and the beams are scheduled to be delivered April 10th. So they're actually ahead of schedule on it. Contractor said it would probably be open by end of May, 1st of June. The way things are going.
Good. And all the
Evansville,
other roads closing.
yeah.
That'll help a lot, but
Yeah, it helps some. Evans Hill's been fixed and it's opened back up. We still got to do some repairing on the ditch on the left side going down the hill. We long armed that Friday, so we're preparing to work on that. And I have 4 quotes from Engineering Designs for the bridges on Park Ridge and Smith Ridge. There are 4 different contractors. This is from Civilcon. FPV and H. This is beam longest and F. Still warm, I just printed these off. These are USIs here. That's Ridge. Partridge. A lot of information there.
Do you have another one from BLM?
Yes, I do.
Because this only shows Bridge 67.
I missed one. I got Ridge 9 here. That's Ridge 9. Yeah, it should be more. I just got 2 of those today, so I poured up 3.
This one from USI is for bridge construction, right? Is,
Their engineering's on there also.
okay.
Didn't highlight anything. I think it's on the second page.
Okay. This total here, there's a big difference in those numbers. I don't want to be wrong.
There is no difference. So there's a lot of information here to gather at one time.
Because this total is actually for the entire bridge,
Right.
engineering and construction repairs. I shouldn't say construction, but repairs.
I think they call those general provisions, if I'm not mistaken.
So we'll call them both together.
I would assume mobilization and demobilization is moving and return of the equipment, isn't it?
That's what I thought too, because I don't think that construction engineering is right.
What?
Price wise. That's the sheet that I printed out. That's possible. Doesn't say engineering separate, does it? It's the one line.
And it looks like BLM is quoted theirs very similarly, which includes the total engineering and repairs. Oh, and then we'll ask that we table this until the next meeting. I would like for us to get confirmation from BLN and USI of what is just the engineering
I think Sarah,
costs.
Sarah's here, if you can probably.
So,
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I can answer your question or not, but we'll ask away.
so in your quote, you have a total for estimate for engineering as well as the construction work.
Mhm.
What portion of that is specific to the engineering? Is it this top line item that says construction engineering?
So, I mean, I'm not sure that I understand what you're asking about separating.
Well, let me give you an example. So, well, let me look at the other, maybe I'm not understanding correctly. Yeah. So for example, FPBH quoted, the engineering cost. So engineering meaning create a scope of work, give us engineered plans that we can send out to get contractors to quote on. Okay, that's correct, right? So that looks like, that's what FPBH quoted, and possibly, and Civilcon did as well. It looks like for BLN and USI, you've given us estimates on engineering work and repair costs.
Okay, can I approach you? I'm looking at something on my phone here. I left my paper copy in the car. So that's the second page right here.
Okay,
Is this
so this is,
answer? I mean,
I don't know, you'd have to tell me.
I can absolutely clarify just to make sure that you're
I think it
having
would be
apples to apples.
best for us, because I don't want to, there's a significant, I think a significant difference, but I'm not sure.
Sure.
So it'd be better for Anthony to clarify with both BLN and USI what is specific to, again, just the engineering work as far as creating a scope of work, engineered drawings, so that we can then send them out to contractors to quote the actual repairs. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I can clarify, get that to you tomorrow. That's okay.
We won't have another meeting for 2 weeks, so it'll be 2 weeks probably
Okay.
before we take any action on it. So I make a motion to table the quotes for engineering work for bridges 9 and 67 until our next meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Got a motion by Jamie, a second by Jerry. All in favor? Aye. And I apologize.
I'll real clarify that tomorrow.
I just don't want to make any assumptions.
No,
I
there's
guess.
a lot of paperwork anyway. No big deal.
Anything else, Anthony?
That's all I have. Thanks.
Old business, I guess, obviously, I didn't ask you to put it in, Gil, so it's not on there, but obviously, if you remember correctly, back in December, we rescinded the effective date of the 2023 personnel policy manual, with a new effective date of April 1st, due to ongoing litigation surrounding, the adoption and or implementation of that personnel policy manual. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we rescind the effective date of April 1st, to some point in the future, depending upon the outcome of that litigation. So I could pick a date, June or whatever. I have no idea whether the litigation will be complete by then. My guess is probably not. So rather than,
To be determined, Dave.
so we'll just make it TBD. We'll try to,
To be determined upon litigation.
yeah, the status of or outcome of that litigation. So again, I make a motion to rescind the April 1st effective date of the 2023 personnel policy handbook to a date to be determined in the future.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Oh, got a motion by Jamie, second by Jerry. All in favor? Aye. New business, John Canola.
park business. Jamie, you said, remind you, at the last meeting, you mentioned that you might know someone on the state highway that could replace our sign, our westbound sign from Bryan's Creek on River Road. Will you look into that or?
Well, I was thinking of Anthony, but because it's along a state road, I don't know if we're allowed to put any signs.
Yeah.
We have to get VinDOT on
Okay, and so we
Do
can
you have a
give,
good number for them? Do you have someone that you
that.
could
Not
call?
with me, but I do have.
If you would, it's westbound, it just says Bryant's Creek, Park, and, it's been missing since December, and there's 2 posts there, and you've got it, eastbound, but not westbound. Thank you.
I'll call.
so Tony McClellan would be Seymour District. I assume that's who
Yeah.
you would contact, his office, not necessarily Tony, but his office.
Okay. Would any of the commissioners have gotten any response from the contractor, the general contractor, or the subs at, the people that are got heavy equipment and, lots of, building materials at, Patriot at our park lawn?
I didn't get any response. I spoke to Tony Ryder from Patriot Town Board the other day. I didn't get any response as far as the equipment. But I did get a response from him that they agreed that when they get done, they will seed, resow.
So they have a verbal with the town?
That's what they told
Uh-huh.
us.
Yeah, because otherwise the commissioners are gonna have to pay for it, or the county's gonna have to pay for it, and,
They told Tony they would certainly reseed so that area where they're going to put in and out of the house.
It would have been nice if they sent you guys a letter or sent the park department a letter, asked, I mean, wow. Okay, let's see, our lawn contractor, our new lawn contractor, cut for the first time on Friday the 24th. It's Greg at CNN Lawn Service. He's local. I cleaned up for 10 minutes at Bryant's Creek Park. And then, let's see, in zoning world, Town of Evie, April 10th, a week from today, they have the owners of the 3 remaining unsafe building owners that have been cited. They're going to come to a meeting and say whether they've complied or not complied. So that far they haven't complied. 2 have been leveled though. And if you got a couple minutes, they're not on. He's not on the agenda, but we have Brian Winter here from Town of Patriot. Could talk to you about things going on Patriot. Do you have a minute?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Brian Winter.
John's the lawn contractor that's mowing for Patriot.
Greg at CNN Lawn Service. He's local, and he's mowing at Patriot for the county park board. Right.
Thank you.
I assume he did a good job, but, it's a lot of fun to get.
Hello, everybody. Brian Winter. I'm with Town Patriot, head of the ordinance committee there. Town Patriot has been working really strongly to clean up the town for the last 5 years. Been able to put ordinances in place, created a body. We've been working with our attorneys. I'm here kind of with an upsetting situation that occurred. I've got 4 properties that I turned into the health department with pictures of properties, with complaint forms, and Mark Hell had went to our building commissioner and to go further with the process to condemn the properties, takes a building inspector to go inside the sites to actually condemn the actual structures. Basically, our building commissioner said that he wasn't going to have anything to do with it. He put it at a stop right there. In the 5 years working with the
Was
board,
there a reason given?
there's no reason. Mark helped communicate. He communicated basically he's not going to go and do anything. So it's what we need. So now Patriot's basically looking at creating our own planning and zoning board and putting our own code enforcer in place because we're not getting any support from that department. So that's kind of where we're at. I've got pictures of plots if you guys would like to see them.
So that's Mark Hell or Mark Archer?
Mark Hell got with me. He did his part with the health department, but he can't legally do.
Turned in to Mr. Archer.
Yeah, he actually went to his office and showed him the pictures and the complaint forms. And Mark Hell gave me a call back and basically said it stops here. I can't do anything from here on without a building inspector. So Here's the pictures of the properties. And Town of Patriots putting out a lot of money for not having the support or having to use our attorneys. I think last year we put 25,000 in attorney fees to pursue certain properties. Patriots got a pretty big vision. We kind of want to be like the next Rabbit Hash for camping and boating, and we're really trying to clean up the town, and we'd like to have some new housing built. We've been able to have 6 houses tore down, and now they're ready to go plots. And another situation I had with our building commissioner with this property is this trailer here had an add-on without a permit. Mark Archer did go to that property and basically told the guy to go get a permit, and he'll just consider that an enclosed porch. When the electric codes, foundation, everything, and with the pool on it, I asked him about the safety conditions and the state ordinances about the pool being right next to a playground, being in the front yard, and it's 4 foot high. The building commissioner basically expressed, we don't enforce that anymore. So that stopped right there too.
So Brian, I certainly understand your frustration. I can't sit here and tell you I'm familiar with the ordinances that cover these situations. I can tell you that I will get with Mark Archer and ask him to explain, show me why we wouldn't take any action. So if we've got an ordinance that says that we should take action, then I would expect us to take action. If we don't have an ordinance to cover it, then I can maybe understand his reasoning. But me not knowing the ordinance personally, I can't promise you or tell you what I'll do, short of getting with Mark and getting an explanation as to why his decision was what it was. I don't know, Jerry, if you've got anything to add.
Exactly it.
I believe it's in his job description. So,
Well, there should be ordinances that cover it. Obviously, enforcement, there has to be an ordinance to enforce before you can have an enforcement act, right? We can't just drive down the road and say, oh, I don't like that. We need to ask them to tear it down. So there has to be an ordinance that says, here's the criteria, or here's the regulations behind that ordinance, and this is the enforcement action that you have to take. I don't disagree that it's the building inspector's responsibility if there is such an ordinance, but first I want to make sure that there is currently an ordinance in place.
okay. And I'm hoping that the town of Beebe and the town of Patriot can work closer together, because I know they're having a lot of same issues. I know the county has a lot of issues as
The
well.
one with the pool, is that in the town of Patriot?
Yes,
Do
yes.
you guys not have a town ordinance to cover that?
Well, we're putting that in place right now. We've got
I know you
ordinances.
just had your town ordinances redone.
Well, we're up, at the moment, we're having accessory buildings, fences, pools, that all put in place right now.
And my understanding is that's something that the town of Phoebe and Patriot both have taken upon themselves, because historically they've fallen under the county's ordinances, I believe. So I commend you on the work that you're doing.
I appreciate your time, guys.
That is Teresa, she's
Have a question.
down board. If you want to step up, please.
No,
Yeah, you gotta get up. You want to talk.
I just have one question.
So we have to look and see what, as Jamie was saying, I mean, now that you guys are having revisions on your ordinances, then we have to see where our ordinances meet. So, you know what I'm trying?
I'm with you.
Cause when I talked to Tony the other day, I said, you know, we probably need a copy of the things that you guys have just advised, so that our committee and we can look at it.
Sure.
The county ordinances say versus what you guys have done. We're gonna have to match better.
Clerk's office hasn't get a copy of the Patriots, because they brought them to us.
Yeah, everything that Patriot puts in place, we have it recorded at the
Yeah, we do.
courthouse.
We
And
started
everything
doing-
new that's coming, we'll do the same thing. So,
my question was, on a lot of these, does he do the IC codes automatic, Indiana codes? Like, how does it work with him doing those?
Again, if you look at the current county ordinances, a lot of them will fall back to the IC code.
Right,
So, and it'll show that the enforcement.
your
Is-
pool
is in
has
his
it in it,
hands.
that's why I'm
So-
asking that, the pool one has the
But I know
Indiana
since,
one,
like Jamie had
We-
said,
we
the
have to
town
follow the
will
Indiana
trump the county
Okay.
Ordinances. We
right,
can have more stringent codes than the Indiana code. but we
Right.
Can't have less stringent. codes
okay,
than
that's,
the Indiana.
okay, I guess that's what I'm asking, why wouldn't he, knowing it's an Indiana code already,
Yeah,
for
that-
him to say that kinda, like, why would he not? Because it is in the Indiana, because if we didn't have it in Patriots, we went by Indiana code. And that's why we went to Mark Archer, because it's an Indiana code. And that's why we did that. So I'm like a little confused,
Yeah, I can't speak.
because it
why
is an IC
He
code,
told you what he told you, but
right?
again, I will.
I
get with Mark
understand.
And I'll understand what his
More.
justification was for his decision.
Okay,
And then if I believe it to be enforceable, then my
okay.
expectation is that we would.
So Indiana code would be enforceable for him. That's my question. An Indiana
My belief
code
is- my
would
belief
be.
is, yeah. If I'm not certain, I will run past our legal
Okay.
counsel and.
Thank you for that, because that's been our runaround of, so I'd like that to stop here too.
I was gonna
That
say,
would
your
be-
attorney should know that answer as well.
Well, we
But you guys
contacted them, that's when, we did all that before we ever went to Mark, okay? We made sure that our things were crossed and Todd
Yeah.
dotted and crossed.
I think that some things for
So-
Patriot, and I'm just going by what I've dealt with before, because you guys, the town is different than the town of Evie. The town
Right.
of Patriot is considered incorporated and it's not.
Right, and that's
the
why we
same.
use a lot of
So
Indiana.
The town ordinances are gonna trump the county ordinances most generally. So that's what I
So
always
wh-
get told. Now, as far as,
And then the county would trump the Indiana? How does that work? Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. If you
I'm
had
a
a
little
question, it should have been brought up to your attorney before you wrote those. Because you said you don't have one in enforcement.
we don't, but we use the Indiana to be able to ask
Okay.
Mark Archer to do this is what I'm saying, because we didn't have codes to begin with. Very limited, and still are, other than what we've put in place. So, and now the book is being done, and it's not done yet. So we're trying to do things while we can,
But-
as we're going to use the Indiana codes, because we don't have codes. And we were under the assumption that Mark Archer could abide by the Indiana codes. Does that make sense? That he'd be able to do something considering they're Indiana codes and we're in Indiana. That's why we used them. So if you could do that,
I believe,
I'm-
I believe that you're accurate, but I'm not gonna tell you
I
that you are
understand.
because I don't know for certain. I would tell you that the majority of the ordinances that I've read for the county, they'll state something to the fact that the towns of Vivi and Patriot are incorporated in these ordinances as, as well.
Right.
So,
right,
I have to believe that the majority of the county ordinances apply to both Patriot and Vivi as well, but that's just from the ones that I have read. So
I
and
just
I can't say
don't-
specifically the
It-
ones that apply to this situation.
And I think on his responsibility, he should be aware of what the town of Patriots ordinances are and the counties and enforce them like he's supposed to. And I hear a lot of excuses
And
come
that's
from
something-
him is that, well, nobody ever complained about it. Nobody ever complained about it. All the building inspectors that I know in other counties, they drive around, when they see something, they send a letter or they make them aware that they have to clean up or they have to do something. And I feel like that's why Patriot and Vivi and the county is in the mess that's in right now, because a lot of neglect.
One of the things that you just said, Ryan, I would certainly have to get an opinion from legal counsel on, because obviously Mark is the county building inspector. If Patriot, the towns of Patriot and Vivi have separate ordinances, then I don't know that enforcement by the county building inspector would be required for a code specific to those two towns. I would certainly have to get
Yeah.
legal counsel to give me an opinion on that. And that's something you might ask your legal counsel as well. If you create a different, more, I'll say strict ordinance, does it still fall under the responsibility of the county building inspector as far as the enforcement? Or would you have to have your own independent enforcement agency, if you would? I don't know.
It's kind of what we're leaning to
Yeah.
at the moment, so.
I mean, hopefully, ideally, we wouldn't, I mean, because we're one county. We would think that our ordinances would be somewhat consistent,
Right,
but I understand what you're trying to accomplish.
yeah.
And so I understand why you're doing what you're doing as well.
And to have the knowledge, that way when we do talk, we know where his jurisdiction lies.
Yep.
Okay, I
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
that. That's our main
Appreciate it.
concern.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Purdue Extension, Julie Threadgill. I didn't state your name wrong, did I?
No, 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 you did great. So I am really just here to provide a little extra information about a presentation that John Bond gave, I think it was last month. So he has submitted a grant application for a fairly significant amount of money under an entrepreneurial umbrella. And back in October, our new president-elect, Dr. Chang, made a visit to all of the extension offices across the state. They gave them a tour of the building. Jason Henderson is our extension director at the time. And in the process of touring our building, noticed the garage space. And both of those gentlemen asked Kyle to apply for a grant that Purdue was offering, and it's called the NMAC Design and Innovation Studio. So we were awarded that along with one other county in the state. And that is the shipment of stuff that John mentioned. So it's all kinds of techie things, 3D printers, Dobots. It's all really geared towards youth education. If you visited the state fair last year, they had this equipment set up in a barn, and it was like the design and innovation studio where kids could come in and interact with the equipment. And it's just lots of STEM education items. So John, knowing that that stuff was being delivered, said, hey, I have this opportunity to write a grant to get some money under this umbrella of entrepreneurship, thinking career development and workforce development. And we kind of got together and said, this would be a great opportunity for a partnership between Purdue with this design studio and ideas that he has for workforce development. So one of the questions that came up in that meeting was, did we want to use the garage space? And the answer is yes. We would love to have the garage space if we can use it in that way. It's my understanding that that space was always kind of meant for career development opportunities. This partnership would be on our end, primarily youth development. But what John is working on is young adult education. He has some things in mind. I can't say specifically what they are, but the partnership of those two concepts where you're dealing with youth and growing and providing STEM education and opportunities with entrepreneurial ideas and education, those two things come together to create the workforce of the future. And that's really what we're after, is creating opportunities for our kids and our youth and our young adults to learn these concepts and skills so that they can become better productive citizens and bring industry and jobs to our area.
What does STEM stand for?
Science, technology, engineering, and math. Sometimes you see it as STEAM because they incorporate the arts into that too, which would be like your AutoCAD design and all kinds of artsy, techie things. But that is, we would love to use that space. We do have the STEM equipment has been delivered. Purdue recognizes that we need a little bit of time to kind of work through the process of that, but they're going to start asking us what we're doing with all of our equipment. And right now we don't have a place to do anything with it. Another of the questions raised in that meeting was who's going to staff it? As far as our end goes with this design and innovation lab, it is the Purdue staff and our volunteers. So we would seek out opportunities with the school system to say, hey, we have these tools, this equipment. Do you want to bring your class in? We'll do some technology lessons or possibly some evening activities, but that would fall on Kyle and myself. One of those flyers is a training that we're going to later this month. This first one is several years old, but there was a big pause in their program because of the pandemic. So they initially set this one up. They have a few more scattered across the state. A lot of them are based in schools, but a few of them are based in engineering technology labs that are already established. We are kind of phase 2, where they're hoping to get it out into the extension offices in the counties. So we're kind of on the front end of that, and there's a lot of learning that's going to go along with it. But this is what I know at this point. And it's hard for us to move forward if we don't have a space to do that in. John's grant is huge for us because while Purdue gave us all of the techie stuff, we have no furniture. We have no storage facilities. We don't have the stuff to make it all work. So that's where his grant comes into play. It would get us the tables and the chairs and the work benches for this equipment, and then some money for consumable materials. So it came with some filament for 3D printers, but John will have extra money in his budget for more consumable materials. Another question that was raised was, what happens when the grant ends? Like, who's going to fund it? Our main expenses are on the front end. So just getting it up and running, because Extension is responsible for staffing it and teaching all of the lessons and materials that go with it. We would really just need replaceable consumables like filament for our 3D printers and equipment like materials for the Glowforge, which would be much, much smaller amounts, and we could write grants for that. So that's what I know about this project. Don't know if you have any other questions.
Probably lots, but Julie, what is your anticipated, let's say, start date?
Timeframe?
When would you like to be in?
So we have the equipment just sitting in the garage waiting on us. So as quickly as we can get it set up, we can.
That's dependent upon the grant.
Yeah.
Get the rest of the.
So
hardware.
Exactly, and it is what we're envisioning without the grant is we're going to have to seek out other grant funding. We still have to have tables and benches for this equipment to sit on. We have to have places for kids to sit. So in the meantime, if Purdue gets after us too much, we're going to have to start using like a piece at a time and maybe pulling it out into our conference room and just having small settings where we can do a little something with it. But right now it's, just waiting for us.
So if I understand you correctly, what really all you're asking commissioners for is the space.
Yes.
As far as establishing the classes, the training and stuff, that's all.
That's all on us. Yeah. Yeah. And I think John mentioned that in his meeting with you, that he has this grant proposal, and the only piece that the community has to provide is a location. Like everything else is funded through his grant. So that would be like the community's contribution.
What is the lifespan of this program? Is there any anticipated lifespan?
So with Purdue, no. Technology is always growing. It's always changing. We're always trying to keep up with the latest thing that has come out, which we need to do because we need to have these opportunities for our kids so that they can be better prepared going forward in the future. This is a pretty big initiative, and it's really just getting off the ground. So my estimation is that this is going to be something that we will continually put time and money into on Purdue's end.
How will you market it to people? How will people know about it?
So I've learned that's really hard in our small community. Our normal marketing tactics are we put it out on Facebook, we advertise to our 4-H families. This particular studio is not solely 4-H. It is for community-wide use, but also we can bring people from outside of our county into our lab. So they've only gifted these 2 labs to other counties in the state. So it's us. I don't remember the other county, but their vision is that we would invite people outside of our county into our studio and say, hey, these are the things that we have. This is what we can do with it, and help.
So did I hear you correctly? This will be only 1 of 2
yes.
locations in the state?
Outside of a school setting or a factory setting, yes, at this point.
Locally, neighboring counties, do any of the schools currently have?
No, there are none close by. I don't know where the nearest the nearest one is, but there are none in our surrounding area. So if you have other questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me. I will contact people and try to get answers. But yeah, we're kind of in limbo at the moment.
Meeting with the school system yet?
No,
uh,
no, not,
To discuss their interest in,
no,
you know,
not yet.
sending classes of students and things.
So we, don't have anything up and running. So we haven't reached out to them.
Or before the work?
Exactly, exactly. And we will know more after the 19th when Kyle and I go to this training at this facility. So,
What was the feedback John gave you from the meeting when? Yeah.
none, but I watched the video and I think he was afraid to speak for us. He didn't know how much he could share. And so I was like, why didn't you just tell him this? He said, well, I didn't know if I could. So that's why I felt like maybe I should come and try to provide as much information as I can, and then take back any questions that you had and try to get those answered.
I could tell you that I'm of the same opinion, is that when the tech building was built, that garage space was intended for this type of use. So certainly I don't have any objections to it. My recommendation is to come and formally
Okay.
ask at one of the commissioners meeting, and we can make a decision.
Okay. So I didn't know how that process
Whenever
worked.
whenever you're ready or think you're ready for
Okay.
that, then
So we just need to put forth like a formal proposal.
yeah,
Or
I think it'd
request.
be best, yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It'll give us an understanding of how much space, watt hours, how long. Obviously, maybe you don't have an idea about how long in terms of 1 year, 3 years, 5 years,
Sure.
10 years, indefinitely, whatever. But I think that information would be very helpful for us in making
Yeah.
a decision.
So I know that I'm fairly new to the community and you guys don't know me, but I spent 21 years as an elementary school teacher. And so the technology isn't going away. It's only ever changing and growing and developing. And I see that as our mission. Like we just have to keep going. It's not something that's going to have a finite end to it, because there is constantly, new technology and new innovation and new things that we need for our kids to know so that they're equipped to go out into the workforce and be productive. So, all right. Well, I will take that information back, and that is yours to keep. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dwayne Covington, courthouse.
I just want to say something about, in preparation basically for Memorial Day coming up, trying to make sure, I know we've had a lot of construction going on in the lawn and all that. I just want to try to make sure it's cleaned up, appropriately. Last year, we picked up a lot of broken branches and stuff like that, and just trying to make sure that, it looks like the trees needs a little bit of trimming back, because American flag keeps getting hung up in the tree limbs out there by the memorial park. And I don't know if that's part of the groundskeep as far as the contractor coming in to do the landscaping or not.
It historically hasn't been, no. But it's certainly something we could get some quotes on.
Yeah.
Memorial 1st of May?
Be, May 29th.
In May. We should have it should be back to normal by
Okay.
then.
And I knew there was construction going on. That's just why I wanted to give a heads up this early on, so give us enough time to react.
Yeah.
And then also, I was wanting to find out, the trees out along the street, whose is those? Is those I know it's an argument. The reason I asked her, there was a broken limb up in the top of the one on the east corner.
It just kind of stir trouble.
No. No, I was just concerned about a liability issue, that's all.
I don't know how many of them trees are gonna get addressed with the state doing all that work.
Right.
But that's a good question.
Well, and I just want to bring it to y'all's attention, just so, because I just found out, today or yesterday, that there was a broken limb up in the top of the one there on the east corner. So it is a liability issue, whether somebody walked down the street, so.
I think we need to find out that too. I mean, I mentioned something last year about all the trees within the courthouse lawn area and stuff. There's some,
I know it's been a controversial thing
There's
for
some-
some time, but
the ones, the ones directly in the courthouse lawn, I think we absolutely, are
Yeah,
responsible
but if we could
for.
get-
And I think there's some that seriously need trimmed.
some ramification, get them trimmed back, especially around the memorial area.
And
But
any of them that are right, we'll have to visit that, but I mean, I would think that any of them that are close enough that they could drop limbs on that wrought iron fence, I mean,
it's gonna damage it.
Wesley, a couple of years ago, we had to put some money out to
Okay.
repair wrought iron fence, and so I think we need to get some quotes.
And also, while I'm on it, at the tech building, have we got any kind of ramification to get rid of some of the recyclable cardboard?
She's made a phone call.
Did she make a phone
She
call?
does make a
Okay.
phone call.
'Cause I knew the trailer was full and I've got stuff in my office. I knew Purdue's got a bunch.
We're gonna
And the
take it
garage
to
is full.
Shiloh Road.
Huh?
We're gonna take it to Shiloh Road.
Well, I'll just burn it there.
Yeah, she did make a phone call. We got two
There
different
might be an
prices.
ordinance against that.
Well, I'll just call the fire chief. Tell him on in. But I think that's all I got, guys. I mean, I just wanted to make it aware and see what we can do with it. And good early enough, 'cause I know, like I said, there's construction going on. I know all the.
Definitely all that stuff that you see sitting outside will be gone, because it's all related to the scaffolding. So it should be gone within 2 weeks.
Okay, I wasn't sure about the trees too, because I wasn't sure if it was in the landscaping
We'll
deal or
get some
not.
quotes on, certainly the trees within the court, inside the fence of the courthouse.
Sure.
Oh, then we'll have to make a decision.
Well, that's my concern anyways, was inside the courthouse lawn, so, and, may have to write an ordinance too and let these guys walk these dogs in the courthouse lawn.
Everybody's ordinance.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
John Bond, I listed him on there that he's
Yeah, exactly.
with, well, he's with Drew, that's why I had him down. I wasn't shaking down. Now it makes sense after I listened.
Well, maybe once that garage.
Yeah. that's how I got.
I think it makes it better, well,
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think,
Well, that's what.
one of the biggest part of it is just, what's over the on it upstairs. That's the only lawyers make, we're running out of space. Anyway, on.
board reports, do you have anything, Jerry? I don't have anything. Oh. Any other announcements? I do have one thing, well, we can do that.
No, I was just fixing to, he already covered it, I was gonna ask him when the guys would want the 410s. I don't know when you think we're gonna need to start mowing.
Give a couple weeks yet.
Couple more weeks.
The sun is getting warm. It might be quicker than that, but we're ready to go. Just-
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, all the tractors are ready.
Had that question.
Have you been down Bennington Pike? So after the Department of Corrections did some cleanup down through there, I think there's some bags of trash and stuff. Can we get them picked up?
Yeah, I'll see that.
Um,
Right in downstairs.
I need to go back. I haven't been down through there since before I went on vacation. I don't know, was there any, did they put all the tree limbs and stuff in one location or?
And then bottom there by car, crossing.
Okay.
There is some like fencing, somebody's fence has been down through there, the vinyl,
Well,
some of that line alongside, but yeah, we can pick it up.
yeah, the tree limbs and stuff, don't worry about
Right.
them.
We can get,
I'll get them taken care of. But if we can get, there should be bags of trash, if we can get them picked up. I say trash, it's really not trash, it's, I don't know what.
Debris.
Debris, right. So if we can get them picked up, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they are. I'm not sure what I did.
One was done.
And we'll get Wesley to give us.
I had some ordinances that I need.
What do you have, what?
I have ordinances, but these are just for the funding, because I created funding numbers for the projects, for the Sunville Road, Elam Road, all the ones that we got the grant money for. Each one of those has to have a new fund number, so it has to have its own ordinance. Yeah, you guys have done 2 of them already this year for me.
You're talking about for community crossings?
Yes. It has to have a new fund number, so 822 to 826 is gonna be for each road that you guys awarded those a month ago, I think. Yes, and we just did one, yes, we have.
That was since I've been a commissioner.
We just did two. I did one for the health department and I did one for that tribal money that we got. We had.
Right, for those, but not for community crossings.
I
We've
was
never,
told that I had to. If you don't,
no, I don't know. I'm just saying we've never, ever done it before, so I don't know.
it has to have a new fund number, so why wouldn't it?
With
I'm
it,
just asking.
It's already associated with the
Okay.
road when they get the grant.
can we table it and,
Yeah,
and make sure, because I don't,
I've already
we've
got the
never ever
funds
done
created
one
and
for
everything.
community crossings. That's the only reason I'm questioning it.
I mean,
And that doesn't mean
I was
that we've
told.
done it right in the past and this isn't right this time.
The other
I
two
don't
I
know.
did were for the health department.
And we do
thing
for
that
those.
got And the tribal money.
And we always have for those other grants, but for community crossings, we've
Just because
never
it's
ever done one
those
that I
type
know
of
of.
Things is there.
They're already.
I assume the reason that we don't, because we don't get the money till after we do the work. As far as those grants. You shouldn't have even any monies yet for those,
No, there's no money in
for
here.
them. And I don't know how they pay. I don't know if they pay direct.
Well, Arlen told me that, the money should be coming in from the state.
That would be for the ones that's already done, not
Yeah.
not for these.
I mean, I just have them sitting there on my desk, kind of watching.
These aren't even done yet, and we won't get we usually get the money
Like,
6 months to a year after we complete the projects. It seems to me like.
No, that's.
If we can just confirm, because I honestly don't know. I just know we've never done any for community crossing.
Okay.
Wesley, this Nadine backflow, didn't we already approve it or?
No, been a year ago.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's coming, it's up due again.
okay.
They're gonna be at the school. That's why he called me. Said that he'd give us a better price last year because he's coming to the school to do them, so.
And this S&M,
I think that's already been approved,
right?
but I didn't know how you wanted to go about
Is this just a draw? Or is this what he's completed so far? He hadn't done all this, has he?
Yeah.
This is just the tanks.
it. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to pay. It was in the budget and we'd already approved the contract, so I don't think we have to take any action. We'll have to take action on this because we haven't approved it yet.
I did contact our heating and cooling people we have now, and they're gonna contract it out, so more than likely it ain't gonna be no cheaper than them doing it. It ain't been in the past, so. Cause they don't have a plumber that can do it.
This is, they do this once or twice a year. Once for it. That does look like a little more reasonable than last year.
Yeah, we had to repair some last year. Well, actually, we rebuilt one and replaced one.
I'll make a motion to approve Nadine Mechanical in the amount of $833 for backflow testing.
I'll second the motion. I have a motion by Jerry, a second by Jamie to approve Nadine Mechanical in the amount of $833 to do the backflow testing. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Gary, you have anything?
No, that's all.
Jerry, you have anything else?
No.
Anyone else have anything?
My name is Paul McLaughlin. I live in the county. I live in Patriot. I didn't realize Brian was coming. My concern is obviously we got a lot of roads closed. But on the other side, next summer, The roads are gonna look nice. We're gonna have more people wanting to come visit. Have you ridden, I did it just this morning. I did the scenic route through Switzerland County. Tried to get through before they closed the last little part there. Brian was talking about how Patriot's trying to clean up. County needs to clean some stuff up. You know, as people come in to visit, we're trying to do some development. Vivi's trying to do development. Patriot's been working real hard on it. Some things just look bad, you know, and as you leave Rising Sun, you start coming in, you go past Evan Hill, there's just, I'm afraid people are gonna, by the time they get to the landing valve, they're gonna turn around and give up on us.
Yeah, I would tell you that we did recently establish a property management advisory committee to review all of our current ordinances. We're looking at what neighboring counties have done as well as other counties in the state to see what we can do relative to our ordinances. The intent is to come up with a plan, if you will, run it through our legal counsel for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure that what we want to do, we can do and is enforceable in court or is enforceable by law, but will also hold up in court. So, agree with you completely. The process is in place or happening now to look at the ordinances and either amend the current ordinances and or adopt new ordinances to address some of exactly what you're talking about.
And will they be enforced? You know,
Well, there's no point in us doing it if they're not going to be enforced.
Okay, that's just, you know, because from what Brian was saying, and it's my opinion, from what Brian was saying, it seems like they're getting frustrated and they're gonna start trying to spend money and develop a structure to start enforcing things, which none of us have got enough money to make up two systems. You know, I mean, it would work better if the county had a system that everybody could use. Maybe as
No,
well as us.
I agree with you completely. I will tell you that as a member of, boarding, excuse me, Board of Zoning and Appeals on this committee. There's a member of the Planning Commission. There is a member of the Prosecutor's Office. There's a member of local law enforcement, a commissioner. We actually have a member of the general public as well, on this committee. The only, I would say, there's a member of the health board on, I don't know about the health board, but the health department on the committee. The only representation we don't have is really probably from council, county council. But I think short of having a member from almost every entity that would need to be involved, I think council is probably the only one that we don't have. And the only reason we would need them is if we have to ask for different types of some other funding relative to exactly that, the enforcement or something to that effect. But if we get to that point and decide we need funding, then we can go to council and ask for that funding. So I think we've got our bases covered in terms of participation in that advisory committee. But we'll have to wait and see what the outcome is.
You know, I'm looking at it as we've got this summer to get a lot of things done because obviously we have less traffic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Motion, I got a motion by Jerry, a second by Jamie. All in favor? Aye.
Yeah.